morning, everybody. Welcome back to Exploring Economic Development with MEDC. I am Meredith Harris, the Executive Director, and I am joined by our moderator again, Jill Morin.
Hi, everyone.
Good morning.
We're excited to be here. So we've had a few weeks off.
We have had a few weeks. The last time we were here was St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So last month we had the 5 Wednesdays. So we had a little break, but we're really excited
to be back. Absolutely.
So if you're joining us live right now on Facebook or on YouTube, please comment, and we can actually see that and integrate it into our show here. And if you're watching this on the replay, hello, how's it going? Especially if you're watching from our local cable access channel, WMCT TV. We're going to leave our email and our phone number at the end of this video. So please join us. You can send us an email, give us a call, let us know any topics that are interesting for you or any questions you might have.
Correct.
About anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
So last time we were here, we had Linda. We had Linda Martins on, the Director of Operations.
Linda.
Yeah, and so we talked a little bit about the last 10 years of MEDC. Yeah. We're celebrating 10 years of Linda at MEDC, which was really great. Today we're excited. We have a special guest with us. I don't think we're going to be introducing him quite yet, though, right, Jill? Don't we
Not
have
yet.
a contest that
we have a contest. All right, so if you are watching us live, so I can see Rob Schlachter, good morning. Nice to see you, buddy. Mariana, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Andrea, hello.
Good morning, Andrea.
All
Andrea's
right.
our chair
She's
of
our
the
chair.
board. She's also a huge fan of, I'm not going to say it yet because we haven't introduced him, but go ahead.
Okay, yep. Yep. So guys, if you're watching us live right now, if you share this live, in Facebook especially, if you share this live at the end, we're going to pick a name from anyone who shares. So share this live and you'll be entered to win a gift card to
one of our local restaurants.
Whatever local restaurant you want here in Marlborough, Mass.
Which is a great segue to introduce our guest this morning. We're really, really excited and really grateful to have Michael Andelman from the Phantom Gourmet with us this morning. Good morning, Michael.
That's right.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah.
It's great to be here.
It's great to
great
have
to
you.
be like, even though we're socially distanced,
To be with
very
people.
safe. It is great to be in a room with people.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
I was a little bit worried that my social skills have really fallen through
We'll let you know
over the last year.
year. My wife and I are basically like, we talk to each other like cavemen these days.
We're not shy, so we'll let you know if you need a little
I
brushing.
appreciate that.
That's awesome. So, Michael, tell us a little bit about yourself, about the Phantom
Sure.
Gourmet. I'm sure that folks that are watching know Phantom Gourmet, but we would love to hear it straight from your mouth.
Yeah,
you know,
I think part of the reason why Phantom and the Andelmans love Marlborough, it seems like Marlborough and Phantom sort of grew up together and got bigger and more popular, especially with hospitality as the years went on. Our company was founded in 1993.
I won't tell you how old I was then.
Not even born. And in 1993, we were on cable. And if you think Wayne's World is like a really high-end show, we were like 50 times worse than that.
Really?
It was. So the first episode of the show, first episode of all time, we had we took phone calls because we didn't even have like video of restaurants. So people
Wasn't there an actual Phantom?
There was an actual Phantom, and we would go out and review restaurants anonymously, but it was an hour show and we had like 2 minutes of video.
Really?
So the other 58 minutes we would recruit phone calls and like, Fred and Lynn, you wanted to, and it was terrible television, okay?
Well.
So the first episode, by mistake, we didn't put the station number up.
Oops.
We put my brother Dave's number up.
Oh,
Whoops.
no.
Okay, so that's the bad news. The worst news is he had no messages at his home phone when we got home because we had 0 viewers.
Yeah.
But
Not
as
the case anymore.
as the years went by, and it really is a tribute to my brothers that started the company. It was David and Danny from the beginning. Like a rock band that's playing a small club, and then organically it finds itself playing the Boston Garden 10 years later.
Yeah.
We've been doing this now 28 years.
Wow.
And what has really been gratifying through good times, through pandemic times, through recessions, is that hospitality and restaurants offer comfort to millions of people that live in New England.
Right.
And what happened with a place like Marlborough, if we look at what Marlborough was 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and where it is today, in such a destination for activities, for business,
So different.
for hospitality.
Yeah.
And we're talking anything, when someone like Fix from the Niche Restaurant Group,
Love Mike
from
Covino,
Worcester and Mike Covino.
Yeah.
When they say we're going to branch out and Marlborough is our next location,
Yeah.
you have arrived, because he's one of the premier restaurateurs. So we look at what's going on with Apex and 110 Grill. And what I like about Marlborough is you have these giant things, like big companies like Niche and big companies like Apex. And then you've got Welly's.
Right.
Right.
Homegrown.
And you've got everything in between. And I think I have 4 young kids, and we live in Needham. It is illogical for us to come to Marlborough,
But you do it
once a week, once every other week. It's just amazing what has happened here, and that's why I think our lives are sort of paralleled each other.
Yeah.
And in the end, Phantom Gourmet is, especially during these pandemic times,
So important.
We're one of the only companies out there that's making new content.
Yeah.
And we are comfort television.
Absolutely.
For just millions of people.
Absolutely.
And if you look at what we're doing on television, and if you look at what we're doing on social media, we're reaching 2-3 million people,
Right.
Yeah.
local people. And these aren't, you're not just sort of, you're watching one show and then you might flip on Phantom. You are appointment viewing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You are
You're
saying,
checking out who's coming up and
correct.
Right.
You're saying on a Saturday, Sunday morning, and I think the most gratifying thing that we do at Phantom is we're the opposite of Netflix and chill.
Yeah.
So
Well, no, that's people watch to find what am I going to do today?
so they chill for a little when they watch,
With they're having their
and then
coffee.
they get up
And go.
and they go and spend money somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think what's been amazing over the last year is with lack of traffic, with less of a commute,
Right.
with people working from home, with kids not in school full time, our audience will see something on Facebook or Instagram on the TV
go.
show
Yeah.
and just put it in the GPS.
And go.
And they're like, all right, they're going from Lynn to Marlborough.
Right.
Okay, it's going to be 53 minutes, but it'll be free
But it's worth
parking.
it. Yeah.
And I'll stop and I'll get that Caesar salad pizza at Welly's, or
Right.
I'll get the
Right.
spicy cashew chicken.
Right.
Or I'll go to Fireflies and get
They
ribs.
trust your recommendations.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
speaking of Fireflies,
Yes.
Steve Eulis is joining us.
Hi,
He's saying,
Steve.
Hello, y'all.
Good morning, Steve. We need a little barbecue over here, Steve, if you
Yeah,
want to bring
Steve,
some down.
can you please open for lunch just for today, so that I could get? We did outdoor Easter with my family at Fireflies.
Did you?
On Sunday?
Oh, that's
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Smoked ham.
That's awesome.
It was really spectacular. If you haven't been to that outdoor
It's amazing.
patio at
Yeah.
and props to Marlborough for everyone here.
you.
What you did for outdoor dining last year, you were weeks and months ahead of the curve for the restaurants that were here.
Yeah.
While other suburbs were like at the end of June and July going,
Trying to figure it out.
what can we do?
Yeah.
Your organization was out there with the Jersey barriers, with just saying. I mean, it really was. It looked like. I mean this in a responsible way. It looked like New Orleans.
Yeah.
It was just sort of like it was so open
Well, I
and a
think-
party-like atmosphere.
Well, and I think the thought process behind that was we knew that the state was going to come out with something at some point. And so instead of waiting to see what the guidelines were, we kind of got our ducks in a row. And then once we found out what they were, we either adjusted to make sure that it fit what we needed to do. But if you waited until they came out with everything, you were, to your point, you were way behind.
And then there were certain towns that were still deciding things
If they wanted to do it,
in
right.
July. Well, is this allowed? Is
Right.
this not allowed? And I think what Marlborough did great, which was let's get it open.
Right.
Let's get the people out here
We'll
dining.
fix the kinks as we go along.
Let's get them in the
Right.
habit. Dining is such a habit game.
Right.
If people know that you're open and there's outdoor dining and you've acquired those customers, you're going to get them for June, July.
Right.
Those who opened up later had a much harder time
Curve.
acquiring customers.
Yeah.
And what's also been amazing for Phantom is that the way my father and his friends talked about Red Sox and ball players and should we trade, our audience talks about, have you tried this place? Do you know this chef has
Right.
moved
The chef, right.
over
Right.
here? Have you tried this lobster dish? And,
Right.
and our audience, I think, was viral before going viral was popular.
Yeah.
That's what they were
Yeah.
always doing.
I love you call it the Phantom fans that
Yeah.
you guys call them. Yeah, it's
with,
awesome.
with the PH.
With the PH, exactly.
And one Phantom fan tells 20 Phantom fans.
Right.
And what I think is, I'll use Welly's as the example. I go, how do you know? He goes, you've changed our business. And I said, how do you know? He said, Because they order exactly what you tell
What
them
you
to
tell them
order.
to. Yeah.
He's like, as soon as I get the Caesar pizza
Right.
and the spicy cashew chicken
Right.
and 3 other things, it's like, all right, we got a Phantom
gotta go.
table.
So I haven't tried them yet, and I'm literally like, okay, next time I go there, I need to get
The what?
Yeah.
the Caesar.
The pizza?
Yeah.
It's so good.
If you go on the Phantom Gourmet Instagram page,
So
we put a
good.
picture of it up yesterday,
Yeah.
which has really just exploded.
Yeah.
I'm not a salad guy at all. No
Yeah.
Phantom fans are salad
Salad
people.
people.
I have to make that very clear. That doesn't really. We did a healthy dining show one time. It's funny.
One time.
Okay, so you can imagine how it went. We surveyed our audience and
Yeah.
said, "What do you want more of on the show?"
Yeah.
And overwhelmingly, they said more healthy dining,
Really?
more healthy dining.
Okay.
That's not comfort
Because
food.
people lie. It's like
Yeah.
when you go to your doctor,
Right.
you know, you're like, how many drinks do you have a week? Maybe one. It's like, this big.
I'm a social drinker, right?
So, okay, guys, we're going to make a healthy dining show. This is
Didn't
going to
go
be
over
great.
well.
We
Yeah.
did a healthy dining show. And in the ratings every week, you get who's watching every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And if 0 people are watching, there's a hashtag.
Yeah.
Okay? It's the only, there's an asterisk, that's what it is. In the history of our show, it was asterisks for all 0 people
That's a riot.
watch the show. So the next week, we went the opposite and did big portions.
Yeah.
We had like 300,000 people watching.
That's amazing.
People don't watch us to be healthy.
Healthy.
Sure.
No.
We are your guilty pleasure.
Absolutely.
And sort of luxurious, okay, this is jaw-dropping.
treat.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
there's not enough cheese on it, we add
We
another
add a little bit
layer
more
of
cheese.
Why wouldn't
from
you?
our personalities and from the food standpoint.
Right. Absolutely.
All right, I want to jump in real quick
Okay.
and make sure that we're saying hi to our viewers. Mariana Avery said, so happy to be watching. We love Phantom.
Yay.
Thank you, Maria.
All right,
Absolutely.
Mariana.
You can ask people their favorite restaurants too.
yeah.
I'm always intrigued. You can tell a lot about a person. I can skip like 10 hours of conversation
just
by
ask them.
if I say, "What's your favorite restaurant?" If they say Olive Garden, we don't have much to talk about.
Not friends.
Not that there's nothing wrong with
Olive Garden.
Olive
Yes.
Garden,
Yes.
and I'm fine with it. It just you can profile someone by what their
What their-
favorite
yeah,
restaurant
absolutely.
is.
Okay, well, all right. We've got a kind of a, not a controversial post, but Mr. Mayor Arthur Vigeant is saying some fans are salad people.
Well,
That's the mayor of Marlborough chiming in.
and he is of any mayor I've ever met. I love the story when we first met him, and he said, "I want business here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really want to be
He
great.
means it.
We want restaurant. We want all kinds of business here." And every mayor says that,
Yeah.
and then you never hear from him again.
Yeah.
And then he left the meeting by saying, "Here's my cell phone number. Give it out to anyone who wants to open a business here."
Right.
I was like, "Oh my god!" So then I called the cell phone just to make sure, because a lot of
It was him.
You know, it goes.
not a
it
fake
goes,
number, it's
no,
not a burner.
It's really him. I hung up on. So I apologize for hanging up on you, Mr. Mayor. I need him healthy and alive because we need
he's
more good
good.
politicians like the mayor here. So I'm okay with him eating salad.
Yeah.
But people don't turn to me for salad.
For salad
advice.
recommendations.
It's not happening.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay.
One more. Do you mind?
No, go ahead,
Okay.
go ahead.
So Andrea says, we love seeing the yummy
Yummy
foods.
foods.
Big plates are the best.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we got a lot of big plates. I'm
Yeah.
so I wanted to ask you about the partnership that we have with MEDC and the Phantom. It is super unique, right? So
Yeah.
there's no one else that's having this kind of a partnership. And just wondering a little bit about why you choose to partner with Marlborough.
Yeah.
And speaking of big plates, that kind of reminded me of the big hot dog at Apex. And I mean, we've got lots of good food that's here, which is a reason to partner with Marlborough. But
Yes.
really, why do you guys choose to partner with
when
us?
we originally sat down and met, and respectfully, we deal with lots of towns,
Sure.
lots of cities, and some do better than others
Mm-hmm.
dealing with their businesses and with their restaurants. And when the Andelman brothers sat down with Marlborough, it was like they think like us.
Yeah.
It's weird. Even though
We like business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though you're a government organization, and you're not private, you act like you own the businesses here in Marlborough. And we came up with some crazy ideas like, okay, at the food festival, let's have a whole Marlborough section.
Yeah.
And you're like, I love it.
I love it.
Right? You know, just I love it. And
there.
And then we went through and said whether it was new places like Fix,
Right.
which is modern, on the water, great burgers, great beers, or you introduced us to Kennedy's, which has been here, 60 years?
Yeah, homegrown.
Homegrown, ridiculous, like tableside and prime rib and a market, and as comforting and old school as you could
As you can get.
And Marlborough is accessible to a huge percentage of our fan base.
Sure.
And family activities like Apex.
Right.
And, so you sort of have a mix of everything here in the community. And the best part is the ally that your association and the mayor have with business. We've never asked, and I think at Phantom, we're here just to show you good-looking food.
Yeah.
Like, that's our job to
that's
get you
your
off
job,
the couch.
right? Yeah.
But in the end, we deal with so many independent businesses that, we speak to lots of owners, we speak to lots of mayors. And when we came here, it was just like, we don't have to convince them of anything.
They're on board.
No, it was like, I kept saying things. You're like, yeah, Mike, we're with you.
We're there.
I was like, and I usually, when I go through that speech at Town X, I'm like, and you could close down this street, and you could do this, and you could do this. And they look at me like, what are you talking about?
We're good, yeah.
I don't plan on doing any of this.
I'm so familiar with that type of feedback, you know, because I'm always like, oh, I've got an idea. And what about this? And we could do this. Honestly, so I joined the MEDC's team this summer, and one of the best things that I liked about it and that kind of brought me over here from my previous job was the fact that I was like, what if we turned our newsletter into a video? And Meredith's like, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. What if we did this?
Well,
it's such a great...
Kudos to the city council, to our board, to everybody and to the mayor, certainly, being willing to be flexible. And we have outdoor dining, which just started this week, which is why we thought it was perfect to bring you on this week.
And what timing. It's going to be such a gorgeous week, and it's going to hit 70 on Saturday. And there's going to be towns out there where their restaurants are not going to be full.
Right.
Because they're not ready for outdoor dining yet.
Right.
And remember last year when Massachusetts didn't have outdoor dining yet, but New Hampshire did in Providence.
Everybody was going to New Hampshire.
And Rhode Island did. And they were packed there, and our restaurants suffered.
Right.
Well, this is Marlborough is going to have a disproportionate amount of restaurant business this weekend,
which is great.
Not only you open, but you let people know you were going to be open, and you did it so well last summer that we own a drive-in movie theater, and in Mendon, and it's.
I love that drive-in. I love taking my kids there. It's a drive because we live in Clinton, but it's the best.
It only took me 12 minutes to get a plug-in for the drive-in. I mean, that's not bad. But part of the reason you open a couple weeks when it's cold, is because when it's nice out, they've sort of already got it on their mind. And the other thing I think, that you should take credit for in Marlborough is now that people see what you're doing here, you are putting the pressure on other towns to be a little bit more friendly to their businesses. Yeah. Because
why not?
Well, twice we've brought 20 business owners here to Marlborough to hear what's going on here. And those 20 people then go out there and go, why isn't my town
doing that
like this? Sure. Why aren't you doing it? There's a reason why Marlborough gets such diverse, great businesses here. It's because you're attracting a clientele that can go fancy one night, they can go down and dirty one night, they can go old school.
We have it all.
Right, they can,
so you're telling me that what I'm selling every day is real?
Yes. I think it is. I took my kids to Apex 2 weeks ago, and then I said, we can eat here, and then I listed like 16 different places that we could go afterwards.
Right.
And it's like,
the options are endless.
That doesn't exist in a lot of places, and it's fun for us to discover new places. And I think you're in your infancy because we're about to go through a restaurant resurgence.
So to that point, switching gears a little bit, we attended a luncheon that you guys had a couple weeks ago. It was really interesting to hear from the restaurant owners, not just from Marlborough, but from across the Commonwealth and really across New England, about what they've been dealing with through the pandemic and kind of what have they, what has been the last year. I mean, it's been tough for everybody, but the restaurant industry and the hospitality industry they were hit the hardest, right? So pandemic. What do maybe people that the average folk don't know what the restaurants have been going through? Because honestly, you drive through Marlborough and you see the restaurants, they're operating, things are happening, but you might not understand that they're limited capacity and what that really means to their business. And, how are they going to bounce back from this? What are people saying?
Well, if you look at restaurants in a movie analogy, they're like Rocky Balboa at the end of Rocky 2. He took 800 shots to the face. And Apollo Creed walks away thinking, all right, that's it. He's knocked out. And then he looks out of the corner of his eyes and he sees Rocky getting up again. Like, how is this possible? Restaurateurs mentally and physically took more abuse than you could possibly imagine. Yeah. And it was because there were no rules and they changed so often. And I think this was a lot of restaurateurs talked about last week. It's like, okay, now we can do outdoor dining. We did a really good summer. It was good weather. Right. The fall's going to be pretty good. And then there's a curfew and 25%. It's like, okay, for Thanksgiving or Christmas, I have to have a curfew.
Right.
And I can only operate. And then it was downhill from there. But then we had a mild winter. And, so they've been through so many ups and downs. But I think all owners of restaurants all believe, and I all asked them the same question at the end of that meeting. Do you believe in the future?
Right. Yeah. So what's the good news,
and
right?
all after everyone got through this, and the PPP was a lifesaver for so many. It was really a brilliant plan that kept everyone afloat and people employed. They all believe in the future of this business. And anyone that has a restaurant that's doing okay now is looking for other locations, for expanding their current offerings, expanding outdoor dining. They just really believe, and I believe, that this is going to be the roaring 20s.
They're ready for it,
And people are, there's going to be 20% of people or 30% of people that aren't ready to go out.
Sure.
That whose habits have changed.
Understood. Yep.
And they weren't amazing customers to begin with.
Yeah. And they can still do the takeout, right? And
they can do takeout, they can do delivery, but those 70% of customers, they're going to be going out like with money with both hands going like this. I mean, I know the first time that I can go to a bar.
Yeah.
I'm just, I just, and there's going to be no plexiglass, and there's going to be
great.
I can just sit at a bar and just order a drink.
Right.
But I think there's millions of people in this area that are waiting to do the same thing.
Agreed.
So I think as a consumer, you're going to have terrific restaurants expanding with different options, and I think owners are ready because you got to remember. Restaurant owners are part business person and part artist.
Right.
And
it's their craft.
They create.
Absolutely.
And to them, to go 52 or 60 Saturday nights when they would be at the filled Broadway show. They're in the theater business, right?
Right.
And they would be walking through a crowded restaurant as the lights go up and the curtains go.
Yeah.
And now they're at 20%, 30%, and they're spending their nights putting steaks in a styrofoam container to go.
Yeah.
It's not what they want to be doing.
They've been drabbed, their energy and everything has gone out of them. So they just can't wait to fill a full indoor, outdoor.
And so do you think that, the suburbs, there's a lot of talk about kind of the suburbs. I mean, even when we talk about businesses, life sciences, and kind of that shift to the suburban communities, do you think that that's going to happen with restaurants as well?
It's a great point. And this is just my opinion. I think Boston got hit harder than anyone in the restaurant scene.
Yeah.
And if you walk around the South End or Beacon Hill or Back Bay,
it's totally different.
Or Seaport, it's sad. And you can go to a restaurant in the Seaport that was doing $10 million a year that's doing 10 covers on a Monday or a Tuesday night.
Right.
And I think what's happened is those who were going to Seaport and all those places on the weekend, and they were traveling in from Marlborough or Needham or Lynn or Swampscott, and they were going into town, they've realized that you can stay in the suburbs and get a really good experience. And if I had to predict anything what's going to happen out of this, if you take the 10 big restaurant groups in Boston and the 10 big celebrity chefs in Boston, I think all of their next moves are going to be opening in the suburbs.
We want you. We're excited. Please come.
That's what I think is happening.
Yeah.
I think for the first time ever, Marlborough this year is going to open up a swanky, chef-driven, investor-driven restaurant because they're not going to open in Boston. I just don't think it's happening.
Honestly, I don't remember the last time I went into Boston.
And it breaks my heart because that's Boston has turned into a world-class restaurant and hospitality town.
Right.
And it just from where it evolved over 15 years ago, and to see it all sort of just knocked down.
It's too bad.
But if you're a chef or you're an investor group, And right now you can move to Marlborough and open up 8,000 square feet, have a friendly mayor, an organization like yours, every advantage, and draw from all around, from Worcester to Newton, right? And have all of that to offer. Or you could say, okay, let's take a risk and open in the Seaport or the Back Bay.
When we don't even know if offices are coming, that's the hard part. The work from home shift. I mean, we don't know when people are coming back into city. It's a weird time.
A Boston restaurant, if you have 4 people in Marlborough, if you have a 4-top, so 2 couples, and we share a bottle of wine and get a dessert,
or 2,
if I Uber, you can do really well. In Boston, the rents are so high and the build-outs are high. If you don't have the 4-top from Fidelity, that's spending $800 on a Tuesday, it's tough to make the model work. And I think chefs are going to love.
Well, what's great about Marlborough too is that we have all of that. To your point earlier, we have a lot of diversity in the industry. We've got the Boston Scientifics and the GEs and the Cytivas, and so we have a little bit of both. And I've found it really interesting over the last couple of years, kind of that the mayor is always talking about that white tablecloth restaurant and how do we get that white tablecloth restaurant for those folks to go out and close the deal. But a lot of the millennials or the workforce that's coming out here now, they're looking for the niche hospitality, right? That unique dining experience. So, there's kind of there's 2 schools of thought where you want both, but it's interesting to see, a niche of Covino can do so well in this area.
It's amazing. I'm so friendly and I respect the mayor so much, considering all he wants is white tablecloth and salads.
And salads.
Wait, he did clarify.
Did he comment again?
He clarified after we talked about that. He said only for lunch.
Only for lunch.
Only for lunch. We have to make those wide choices. Periodically.
At Phantom, we invented. We say first lunch or second
lunch,
because we're out. So this afternoon,
sounds like Lord of the Rings.
My crew is at Bianco Sausages, doing a whole story there. That family business has been there forever in Malden. And then they're going to Pepe's Pizza, the new location in Watertown.
For second lunch.
First
dinner.
So sausage for the first lunch and then sausage pizza for the second lunch. But Pepe's Pizza, by the way, they're opening locations everywhere. They should be here.
Yeah.
They should be here.
Well, I don't disagree with you. Anybody that wants to come here, we want to have you. So, for sure.
All right. I got to read some comments.
Okay. And then we're going to have a little fun with you after, too.
Okay.
We're doing a taste test.
So we have President Michael Ossing.
Awesome.
And he's got a couple of comments for us here. So he said, Phantom is must-watch TV Saturday morning. Phantom does a great job showcasing restaurants.
Can I pipe in and actually say, so President Ossing every Saturday and Sunday is texting me when Phantom is showing Marlborough restaurants. So I know that he is actually watching. That's true.
It is legit.
Yes.
And then he has a question. He said, can Mike share his thoughts on restaurants and brew pubs in mixed-use districts?
Yes, so he's talking about like office parks. Is there a draw moving forward for kind of that brew pub experience, having kind of a restaurant? That's what people are looking for.
Yeah,
these days,
I think there's an article today that talks about Castle Island Brewery that is opening a tap room in Southie.
Yep.
And I still think interesting interactive dining experiences are in their infancy.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at a Phantom audience, my parents used to go to Legal Seafood and they would both sit in the dining room and get 2 giant entrees and a salad, Mr. Mayor, to start. And that's just not how people dine anymore.
Yeah.
Meredith and I went out to Welly's and ate outside, and she gets an appetizer, I get an entree, and you get a pizza. Everything is turned into tapas style.
Yeah.
So things like mixed usage or brew pubs. One of the best examples I see is up in Maine, Cogden's Donuts. It's like this famous
donuts
shop.
are like all the rage these days.
So what did they do? The donuts are insanely good. They bring 3 food trucks in and get a beer and wine license and play reggae music.
Yeah.
And so they're a donut shop during day.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're this cool brew sampling
awesome.
thing at night. So I think anything, you have to be fair to the restaurants though. So you can't just sort of let anything go on anywhere, because you want to make sure that those who are paying rent and employment taxes and
Your
meals
brick and mortar,
taxes,
right.
that, they're your first priority.
Yeah.
But at places that don't conflict with that, being able to do cool stuff like mixed uses and brew pubs, I think it's really cool.
And it's a cool concept too for like the office parks. Like if someone after work, right? What do people want to do? If when there is traffic, there isn't much traffic right now, but when there is traffic, instead of getting in your car and sitting on the pike for an hour and a half, going out to eat after work, or having that stuff readily available and those cool different types of uses, I think is a huge draw.
I always believe that anything that gets someone to come here or stay here helps everyone.
Yeah. Right.
It just,
they're spending their money.
It just does. Because if you have a beer after work, you're more likely to then say, okay, let's go somewhere else and get a meal as opposed to going somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any more comments? We look like
we do have, but we can. Let me say one, and then we'll go to our activity.
We're having way too much fun.
We are. All right. So Mariana, I don't know, says, will Phantom ever have an event in Marlborough like past events in Boston and the drive-in with restaurants?
All right. So I respectfully, I don't think Boston is going to issue festival permits till like
anytime
2074. So I think we're always on the lookout for partnerships where we can bring an event to town. Cool. And I think the number one qualifier for that is two qualifiers. Can our fans get there?
Yep. Which they can.
And
yes.
and is the town friendly and going to make it easy for us? I mean, when we moved to Mendon, we were thinking of buying the drive-in, and we went and we took the chief of police and fire out to dinner. And I didn't know if they were going to look at me coming from Boston, like with a top hat and a monocle, like the Monopoly guy. And they just said, we want you here.
Yeah.
What can we do to make this transition
awesome.
easier for you? So I think the answer to both of those is yes.
Yeah. Well, and we did during the pandemic, the virtual Taste of Marlborough. That was awesome.
Oh. Yeah.
It was so cool.
That was one of the most popular things we did all year.
And people were craving that type of content, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
it was hard to watch when you're just salivating.
I've been here a million times. I was like, I never heard of that Thai restaurant.
I know, Chez Siam, so good.
Oh,
good.
That looks spectacular.
So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we got ourselves in a little bit of trouble last week, right? So
it was not intentional.
Right. But so Jill last week mentioned that her favorite Oreo shake was from Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
And so the next morning we had Dairy Queen drop in with a bunch of Oreo shakes for us to try.
I don't know if you can see this
Who is the
picture.
owner of this local Dairy
Mike
Queen?
Trefos.
Okay, Mike, is there any chance you can open year-round or expand? Because my wife is addicted. Is when we drive by and it says
closed.
Thanks, and it's like,
thanks for support. I know.
What are you doing to me?
Why?
So for this morning, we have a couple of shakes, and so
yes,
Mike and I are going to do some taste testing. You have to
You
kind of
guys
stir
are
it up a
gonna-
little bit.
Okay.
So are there numbers or letters on here?
There's numbers,
numbers. Okay.
and so Jill, I'm not going to.
so
can't look. I'm not looking.
We have a monitor. She's not going to look at the monitor.
Okay.
So
because I'm going to put, for the audience, I'm going to put the numbers down here. So what they're having and what the answers are.
So we're doing number one.
Number one, trying it out.
And we don't have just DQ and Chick-fil-A. We have another one.
You have a wild card here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's pretty good.
Usually I don't like to eat unhealthy, so this is very rare for me.
This is really great for 10:30 in the morning, right? Ooh, this one's really thick. Let's see. This has got big chunks in it.
Who's our Dairy Queen representative over there?
Mike Trefos.
Mike, okay.
Is he on?
So Mike's on, and he is warning us. He says it's not the same if it isn't fresh. Okay. So
yes, because we did get these
buy them yesterday.
But that's okay. They're still delicious.
We didn't know if everyone would be open at
9:30 in the morning.
So give a little bit of grace there. And you know what? Why am I moderating this? I should have gotten my own.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sitting in the middle watching these guys enjoy shakes.
It's delicious. Nothing better at 10 o'clock in the morning than ice cream shakes.
And
all right, so I know who I'm picking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So number 1, number 2, number 3. I'm sure they're all excellent. Let me get you a paper.
They're all very different.
Everyone's gonna have my milk mustache over the last 10 minutes of this.
They're all really different.
Here you go.
Thanks, Jill.
All right, Michael. I'm not gonna lie. You need this, buddy. Had a little stash going on.
At the end of every meal, my wife starts with me and my face, and then goes to the 4 kids. Like she starts with me because she knows I'll be the worst.
All right, what's your pick?
I'm gonna choose. They're all very good and very close. I like 2 the best.
Me too. Who's
Really?
2? Who's 2? Oh, wow.
Dairy Queen.
It's Dairy Queen. That's great.
Mike, okay, this was not
Yeah.
staged.
Not staged at all. No. That's really great.
Have we redeemed ourselves, Mike?
I think
And-
maybe we
I
did.
hope
And
so.
Mike, could you possibly email me a week before closing date this year so I
So
can
we
get,
know.
so I can get my last love of DQ?
It is not the same if it isn't fresh, he says, but still delicious. So
That's
thank you.
Wow, that's
for
the
bringing
winner.
That's right.
That's the winner.
that
So
was
number
delicious.
1 was Chick-fil-A.
Mhm.
Yep.
Number 2 is Dairy Queen. And number 3 was Marlboro's Trombettas.
Trombettas.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Have you been to Trombettas?
I haven't, but I'm
Oh
going to go
my
after
gosh.
eating this.
Fabulous. They have Trombettas has the best homemade ice cream. So they do like an M&M ice cream. I'm addicted to it in all summer. It's so
We're going to
good.
get an M&M McFlurry tomorrow, I'm sure.
So good.
Not a McFlurry. Blizzard.
A blizzard. Yeah, there we go. We need to make this part of every week. We'll do
Right.
taste tests.
I like that.
We need to rope in some other...
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you can
So,
get wine,
before-
beer.
Right? Yeah, that's a great idea.
And Mike Austin, President Austin says, if you need additional contestants, sign me up.
Happy to help.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so we've got one more game for you. We try to end on a fun note
Love it.
before we wrap up here. So we're playing a little game called Where Would You Go?
Ooh.
Where do you go?
Where'd you go?
Where do you go?
Where do you go? Where do you go?
Where do you go?
Okay, so I've got 5 scenarios for you.
I
You
like
have
it.
to pick a Marlboro establishment.
Okay.
Are we ready? Okay. It's Friday night. Your wife wants to go on a date. Where do you go?
Oh, yeah. and you got
this
5
when you
seconds.
only have 5 seconds.
So
You
this
got
is
5
okay,
seconds.
so this is science fiction, right? My wife wants to go on a date with me. I don't think that's happening.
All right,
5 seconds.
Chill.
Oh, okay. All right.
Chill, because
Chill.
the nachos are her favorite,
Her favorite.
Of all time. I might go somewhere
Shout
else
out.
in the plaza to pregame.
Got a couple options.
And then the nachos taste a
come
lot
after.
even better.
Even better.
But they have
Even
great
better.
outdoor space too.
Yeah.
And
Chill.
he's expanding it this year.
Oh, is he really?
Yes. Yes. It's going to be awesome. Awesome. All right. Second one.
Second one.
Saturday afternoon. Kids want to get out of the house. Where do you go?
That's a no-brainer. That's Apex.
Apex.
Hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Apex.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And-
So they're addicted. So they added miniature golf there.
Yeah.
So for me, that means they can spend like $11,000 downstairs in the arcade, and that buys me a little reprieve for upstairs. They golf
Upstairs,
for a little
yeah.
bit.
Well, the best part about Apex too is like you can be in that top floor where the bar is, and you can see everything that's going on
No,
downstairs.
it is.
I can't wait for my kids to be old enough
is-
where I can live out that scenario.
It's the best. Dollar for
They're
dollar.
almost there.
So let me tell you, last week or
Yeah.
2 weeks ago when I took them
Yeah.
all there. I went to the bar.
Yep.
Where I can see everything.
you can see them.
Yeah.
So they have the high top right in front of
Yeah.
the bar. I get like the 7-foot hot dog.
Right. Why would
That's
you?
not an exaggeration. It's actually
and,
7
and,
feet long.
and a beer, and you can watch them in the
And they're
arcade,
good.
and they are happy as can be.
Yeah.
So
It's going to cost you some money, but that's okay.
worth
Every penny.
It's half the price of a babysitter these
There
days.
you go. That's true.
By the way, Mike says Halloween every year.
It's Halloween.
It's
every
Halloween.
year. Hold on one second. I'm putting my
Can you put it in
calendar.
your
I'm putting
calendar?
in the calendar right
Mike,
now.
he's throwing in the calendar. Halloween.
That's great. All right, next one. And don't ask me why I picked days that went along with
Yeah.
this.
That's
I'm not
fine.
really sure.
It just
Went that way. All right, it's Wednesday after work and you need a drink. Where do you go?
Bye.
On a day like today, I really would go downstairs and get a bottle of wine at
From
Vin
Vin
Bin, and I'd get a sandwich, and I would picnic outside today.
Outside, I know.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
spectacular. Or I go to Fix Outside today. I mean,
Yes.
the weather is so perfect right now.
And they have that amazing deck that overlooks
Yeah.
the lake, and you can't beat it.
Oh,
Yeah.
The Fix is what I call Uber to Needham type restaurant,
Yeah.
which is Claudia. Let's just take an Uber.
Let's take an Uber.
Let's take an Uber
Well, they
both
do
ways.
like they have the bourbon and the craft beers, right? And then they do the milkshakes, the boozy milkshakes.
Yeah.
They're so-
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can we get one of those next episode? For
Boozy
How do those
milkshake.
keep overnight?
So good. So good.
Oh, and they were also nominated as one of Marlboro's hidden
Hidden
gems
gems.
I love
for
it.
best burger.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's for sure. All right. It's Sunday.
Yep.
Pats are on at 4.
Yep.
Where do you go?
Fireflies.
Okay.
Whoa.
All right. That was easy.
Because-
whoa,
because
no
he-
hesitation.
Because here's why: you go there early for the 1 o'clock game,
Uh,
and you get your pregame on, and you eat at the bar, and then
Yep.
you, if you want to, you get takeout, and
Yes.
then watch the 4 o'clock from home.
at home.
The other thing, Marlboro has such underrated takeout places.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And places are much better at takeout these days. So
Well, it's become an art, right?
yeah, I mean, it really has. Barbecue travels.
Right.
So you
right.
get a nice bucket of ribs and tinfoil.
Mm.
So what is your go-to at Fireflies? I know you go there a lot.
Yeah. So always start off with a candy lacquered bacon.
No
So
kidding.
you have to start that as the appetizer, okay?
So, yeah.
And then you get the roasted jumbo wings as your appetizer.
Oh, good.
And then I move on to, I get ribs and brisket platter of those two. And I end the meal with their New Orleans beignets, sort of the fried donuts and the caramel dipping sauce.
Sounds like a whole day worth of food, right?
Yeah. As I say to my wife, I don't have many skills in life, but I can get you off your couch to go to go eat somewhere.
Well, and right next door, another good wings is Kindles. Have you ever had Kindles wings?
Oh, underrated. And
so good.
Those pizzas at Kindles, it's one of those pizzas where I get greedy. I want to eat it right there because it's so
good.
Piping hot out of the oven. So I usually get a warm-up pizza there and then get another couple.
I feel like
pizzas.
I'm doing it wrong, right? I feel like I'm doing it wrong.
Do you like work out 5 times a day?
I'm the Oprah of our family. It just depending on when you see me is what I look at. I'm like sort of mid right now. I'm about to go nuts and berries until.
So we're helping you out by giving you
exactly.
milkshakes in the morning.
Today was that day. I was like, all right, I'm gonna turn the corner today. Today's when I'm gonna eat healthy.
3 right
I'm
now.
crying.
Yeah. All right, I got 2 more. Two
Okay.
more. It's a business lunch on a Thursday. Where do you go?
Kennedy's.
And
And here's why, because I love to do business lunches at classic places.
For sure.
If you go to Kennedy's and you're doing business, some people are going to think it's just a good place, and some people are going to think like places like this don't exist anymore.
I know.
Yeah.
And it does.
Yeah.
It exists.
And the staff there is just
Have you seen their outdoor dining?
crazy.
Oh
It's
my god,
beautiful.
it's beautiful.
My kid, I took them there once. My kids are 10, 6, and my twins are 5. And they were like, Mama, let's go back to that place with all the lights outside and
beautiful.
the flowers. They're talking about Kennedy's. And we
It's
went
beautiful.
months ago. But
Also,
they,
Evviva,
Yeah.
the way
Oh,
they
yeah.
designed Evviva with the really high ceilings and you get the fried pizza,
Awesome.
Yeah.
that's another place where
That's a huge business lunch spot too.
right?
Yeah.
I just think, and it's sort of casual but elegant at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a great place.
Yeah. So many options.
Yeah.
So many options. All right, the last one,
Last one.
before we let you go here.
Last time you'll hear this
one should
bell.
be fun. So your in-laws are coming by. They're not easily impressed. Where do you go?
All right, this is the one I'm going to be stumped on forever.
Forever.
I would have to take them to Fix because
Fix.
they're beer people.
Yep.
And they love a great
They
beer
would definitely
selection.
be impressed.
Oh, yeah.
They will not. They eat healthy.
Yeah.
We have a mixed marriage.
I was just going to say, so they eat healthy. They're not.
My mother-in-law's a PhD nutritionist. And so our first meal up, we ordered appetizers,
Yep.
and they thought that was the whole meal.
That was it.
They were like, wait a minute, you're not ordering more, are you? Like, this does not impress me.
That's awesome. All right, so now I have one last question.
Yeah.
One story that you tell that I think is just hysterical is about your mom, right? Isn't that how you guys got into Phantom? I don't want to throw her under the bus. So I'll let you do
Thank
it.
you for doing that. You make me do it. I'm lucky enough to have terrific parents. They've been married 52 years.
Your dad's staple in Boston.
You know, my dad was a legendary radio guy. My mother, the greatest mother of all time, the single worst cook you have ever.
Hopefully she's not watching.
Don't ever talk to my husband because I might be in second place.
She just can't cook.
Aww.
And the reason why we all got in this profession is we dined out all the time growing up.
Yeah.
And when we grew up, there weren't a million restaurants around.
Yeah.
When you think about it, you used to dine out for special occasions. You'd go to Hilltop, you'd go to Jimmy's, you go to Pier 4.
Yeah.
There weren't a ton of places.
Right.
Mark Lochner's, all the, these legendary places. And dining out became, my kids eat outside the house more than they eat
inside.
Inside the
It's
house.
an experience.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
my mother, I'm not even kidding. I don't think there's one thing she makes well. But
As a mom myself, I'm like, oh.
But I preface that by saying
I'm
she
crying.
is an amazing
mother.
Right.
amazing.
That's amazing. That's
You
awesome.
can't be good at everything.
You
And
can't.
sometimes you're real bad at one
thing.
thing.
I mean, in today with Uber Eats, I mean, that would change everything. Because
Yeah.
she'd make a meal, we go, it's so good. And
So
we'd all
good.
go downstairs and get like Uno's delivered or something.
That's awesome. It's awesome. All right. With that, we're going to say thank you so much. We really, really appreciate you being here and giving a little insight into the restaurant industry, what's to come. Glad to hear that there is some good news on the horizon for our restaurant folks, and really just excited to work with you and continuing the partnership.
Thank you so much. And the best night of my year is going to be when I come to a restaurant in Marlborough this summer, and for the first time in a year, indoor is full
Yeah.
and outdoor is full.
Yeah.
and the owners are running around like lunatics.
And the
You-
mayor's not eating salad. Right?
the mayor's getting an entree, and
That's right.
that's
Said
what
an amazing salad.
that's what I really look forward to is packed restaurants.
That's awesome. Yeah, we look forward to it as well, and excited to have you back for outdoor dining. Everybody's starting to open up, and let's just keep it rolling.
Yeah.
So, Mike, thank you so much. Appreciate you being
Thanks.
here.
Let's give it up
And,
for Mike.
We'll see you all next time. Thanks for tuning
Thank
in.
you.